Everyone is talking about the bill, but let's talk about the part that affects you, affects your spending over the next 4 years, because some of us will be gaining money and some of us will be losing money. All I ask is you give me the thumbs up, and if this is your kind of channel, then go ahead and subscribe. Starting off with the part that affects us all, taxes, income taxes. The bill proposes to make permanent the tax cuts we got back in 2017 during President Trump's first administration. Every income bracket got tax reduced or tax cuts back in 2017, but those cuts were set to expire this year. The bill, if it passes, would make those cuts permanent, which means none of us will see an increase in our taxes. Hallelujah. If you work overtime or get tips, the bill proposes to not tax your overtime wages or your tips. For those of us with kids, the child tax credit would be increased to $2,500 per child up until 2028. After 2028, it would go back down to $2,000. For the very few of us who earn under $500,000, there's going to be an increase in your state and local tax cap from $10,000 to $40,000. This is how much you get to deduct from your federal income tax or from your federal taxable income because you've already paid that amount to the state. That is going from $10,000 to $40,000. And this includes your property tax, your income tax that you pay to the state. So for those of us who live in states with high taxes, this is great news. If you send money outside the country, send money to family, friends and family outside the country, there will now be a 3.5% tax on that amount, remittance taxes. Right now, there's none. It was initially proposed to be 5%, and it's now being worked down to 3.5%, and that would start January 1st, 2026, if the bill passes. If you're on Medicaid, listen up. Adults without disabilities will have to prove they're working or looking for a job or training for a job to keep receiving Medicaid. There'll also be stricter checks on who qualifies for Medicaid, which means there'll be more frequent checks on income and residency verification to make sure you still qualify to receive the benefit. And Medicaid will not be used for gender-affirming care for kids or adults. If you're on food stamps, listen up. This is about to change your spending over the next 4 years. SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, aka food stamps. All right, so the bill proposes to move 5% of SNAP benefit costs to the state and 75% of the administrative cost to the state. That means states would pay more to run the program and then cover 5% of the cost of food. Obviously, this means a heavier burden on the state since they now have to cover the cost, most of the cost for running the program, and then a little bit of the cost of food. So it may affect who is eligible for food stamps, who stays on, or even administering food stamps. So you may be eligible, but because depending on how effective your state is or how efficient they are, that could affect who gets food stamps. If you have kids heading to college over the next 4 years, listen up. Pell Grants will be greatly, significantly reduced. Pell Grants is the federal financial aid for low and moderate income students to help pay for college. The great thing about Pell Grants is you don't have to pay it back. And I would know. I received Pell Grants and I loved them. So this is a bit painful. You would use this for tuition fees and some living expenses. Well, Pell Grants is tightening up. The bill proposes to tighten up the criteria for Pell Grants, to tighten up pretty much who gets Pell Grants. It's also proposing a workforce Pell Grants for students who are going to vocation schools or going to trade school. And then there's the MAGA account, money account for growth and advancement. Yes, that was on purpose. A one-time deposit of $1,000 into a savings account managed by the government, the federal government. This $1,000 would be invested in low-risk assets, and the growth, whatever it earns, will be tax-free. And the child will be able to use this account or these funds when they're of age for tuition and all that. So it's kind of like your 529, but unlike your 529 account, it could be used for more than educational expenses. This can actually go towards maybe the down payment for their first home, or if they wanted to start a business, this can the funds from this account can go towards that as well. As you can see, the bill has pros and cons. For all of us, we're getting one major pro, which is our taxes. Our taxes will not get increased. For those of us in states with higher taxes, we are going to see some money back because now the amount we get to deduct from our federal taxes has been increased from 10K to 40K. And for those who have kids, you're going to be seeing a lot more money coming through over the next 4 years because the child tax credit has been or will be increased if this bill passes, right? Another pro for us as a nation, not necessarily individually, but for us as a nation, is that what this bill is proposing to do to the benefits program, the food stamp, Medicaid, is to make it more efficient, eliminate abuse of those programs because there is fraud and people take advantage of the assistance. Then the con, which is the part that affects our spending, if you're one of the people who usually receive these benefits, is if you lose a food stamp or Medicaid, now you're going to have to cover a lot more of that on your own. Because when the state takes over, if the states are required to take over food stamps, they're going to have to get the systems in place. They're going to have to get the staff in place, which can affect whether or not you get it, eligibility for it. They may tighten up the rules as well, right? So that may affect if you get it or how much you get for it, and that affects your spending. That would affect your money over the next 4 months. Medicaid, I mean, it goes beyond just money, getting care, right? If eligibility is tightened or criteria is tightened, you may not get the Medicaid anymore. And this video is not to talk about who gets it, who should get it or who shouldn't. This video is focused on the fact that if you were receiving it and that gets cut off, your spending over the next 4 years, and who knows after, is going to change drastically. Another con for those of us who send money to family members outside the country, it's pretty much like getting double taxed because your income is taxed when you get it, when you earn it from work, and it's going to get taxed when you send it out of the country. It will not get taxed if you're using it for vacation outside the country, but if you're sending it to friends and family outside the country, there will now be a tax for it. So if you're sending your family, say $100 a month, it's now going to cost you, do the math, 103 plus the fee for whatever platform you're using to send the money. And of course, if you're a student or a parent with a student going to college, the decrease in Pell Grants means a lot more of your money will have to go towards your child's tuition. Or in most cases, what will end up happening is you're going to be taking out a lot more loans to cover what Pell Grant would have covered. And overall, as a nation, the con of this bill, which you've probably heard, is our debt, our total debt. This bill blows up our debt. And like I said in the previous video, that is not the direction we want to go. So people, once again, now you know, and so you can better plan. If you're one of those people who the con will be affecting, you can plan accordingly, see what charity can assist, see what scholarships can assist. This means we're going to have to do more on our end to try and cover. I don't know how you cover Medicaid because medical bills they're no joke. It's not an easy fix, right? But the point of this video is to let you know how your spending will be affected over the next 4 years. And for those of us getting a lot of money in via child tax or the MAGA account or whichever, spend wisely. All right. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.